What's up guys, my name is Chef Rick Matharu.
And I'm Chef Devan Rajkumar.
We are at Seva Food Bank's kitchen. We are both vaccinated and we're going to be cooking together. Chef, what are we making?
We're making something really exciting. We're going to be doing a roasted red pepper quiche with garlic wilted spinach, Chef Rick's famous onions, shortcrust pastry from scratch. It's going to be a lot of fun. Happy to be here with you and the Seva Food Bank.
Let's get this started.
Let's go. We're going to start by making the shortcrust pastry for the quiche. 1.5 cups of flour. Sprinkle around some salt. This is kosher that I'm using today. Next, we are going to crack an egg, just like this. And we're gonna mix this around with our fingers with the addition of a little bit of really cold ice water. Perfect on a hot day. Best you add a little bit of water and then go from there because we don't wanna add too much liquid into this pastry and then it's too wet, okay? So move this around. Make sure you get that all mixed up. If you wanted to mix this in a bowl prior, you could, but there's just something fun about this. Similar to making pasta, we're gonna start to bring in a little bit of the edges, just like this. But you wanna make sure that egg yolk is fully emulsified with the water. Emulsification is bringing two liquids together that don't normally bind, okay? So here, give that a good mix. What I'm gonna do at the same time is get in a good amount of butter. So we're using about 10 tablespoons of butter, equivalent to approximately 141 grams. And this all goes in here. I'm gonna, same thing, if I need to add a little bit more butter, I will, but we're gonna start by getting all this in here. Slowly working, and now we're gonna bring this all together. I wanna get my hand in there and squeeze that butter. The butter needs to be cold. The butter being cold will allow us to have a flaky pie crust, and that's what we want. We don't want a dense, flat, uneventful short crust. So I'm gonna bring this all together. The butter is nice and firm, and you're gonna slowly start to see this pie crust come together. Once it's all into our mixture, once it's all incorporated, we're gonna get this into the fridge. So you can see it start coming together. One of the keys to making pie crust is not to overwork this dough. If you have a bench scraper, amazing. Send one to my house, move this around, and you can slowly start seeing that this comes together. I'm gonna take the remaining additional butter and work that in, and I'm also gonna add probably a splash of water into here. The key to this is using a good amount of butter. So, form it together. We don't wanna overwork this too much. A splash of water. Please follow the recipe if you're at home. This will help. And again, if you add too much water, you're gonna be in big trouble. So, we're gonna bring this together. You can start seeing the pie crust start to form, just like this, press it down. And we want something nice and flaky. Mop up everything around, bring it back in. You can flip this over. Again, another splash of water, but not too much. We add it as we need it. I find depending on where you're at in the world, depending on your ingredients and the temperature of them, that varies the water, okay? So here we have a cool pie crust. Again, don't overwork it. And what I'm gonna wanna do is start this off in a nice round shape so that when we go to roll it out, it'll be ready to go. Okay? Nice, flaky, crumbly pie crust, okay? So there we go, we're gonna wrap this in saran wrap. You come with me, over here. Bring saran wrap over. Drop our pie crust, very delicate. See, it's not overworked. We can see that there's nice chunks of butter. That's gonna give us big flavor. That's also gonna allow us to have that really flaky pie crust, which is what we're looking for. So a little saran wrap, and we're gonna let this rest in the fridge for approximately half an hour, okay? Pie crust.
All right, so I'm gonna be doing a balsamic onion. What I've got to do is, I've got 2 onions here, red onions, and we're gonna cut them into wedges. Just chop off the top here. I'm gonna leave the root intact because that's what's gonna hold my wedges. Cut them into 4, 6, 12, whatever we want. These are big boys, so we're gonna chop them down a bit more. And what I wanna do is just take that outer skin off. You can take it before or after. Whatever is easier for you guys. And balsamic onions are one of my favorite because you can use them on anything, on sandwiches as a side. They just got this beautiful sweetness to them. I like using red onions. You can use any onions you want, to be honest. But the red onions got a nice little kick to them. All right, so the onions are gonna go into my pan here. We're literally gonna take about a teaspoon of a good balsamic vinegar. About a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, right? So a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, right on top. Half teaspoon of black pepper. Again, half teaspoon of black pepper. Right on top. Take your hands, give it a nice mix. You want to get that balsamic into the onions. Just make sure they're getting right in between each kind of layer. And about a teaspoon of olive oil just to help them bake. There we go. A nice mix. Make sure they're nice and flat on the tray because they're going to bake on both sides, starting with this side here. There we go. Take some foil paper. Cover it nice and tight, create a tent. I'm going to bake this in the oven at 400, what are we at right now?
400, Jeff.
400 degrees, about 15 to 20 minutes. Take them out, flip them, and then bake them again, uncovered, for another 15 to 20 minutes. And you're just gonna get this beautiful caramelized balsamic onions that are gonna go amazing with the quiche. There we go.
One of the components for this dish is a red pepper that we're gonna roast. Now, if you don't wanna do it over the open flame like I'm doing it here, and if you are doing it this way, be careful, the tongs will become very hot. You can simply throw this into your oven at 450 on a baking tray lined with parchment paper. We're looking to char it completely. Once it's charred, into a vessel, cover it with saran wrap for 10 minutes to steam, and then we will remove the skin. Keys to success when cooking in the kitchen are to multitask and have multiple things going at once. While Chef is gonna start doing the potatoes in just a moment, I have my red pepper roasting. We wanna get it completely charred all over. Okay, back onto the flame. Let's break down some mushrooms. All I'm gonna do is remove the stem, and I don't need to remove the whole stem. And we're gonna go across and break down the mushroom. We wanna saute the mushroom prior to adding it to this quiche to eliminate a lot of the moisture. So a rough chop on the mushrooms, just like this. We have the smaller ones here as well. Again, off with the stem, and we can go across. Into my bowl, check on the pepper. Making these guys work today. And yeah, we'll be off to the races soon. Again, once this is charred, into a bowl, saran wrap, let it steam. Chef, how are those potatoes coming?
So I'm gonna finally dice some potatoes. One potato in my hand. Now, sometimes potatoes are a little funny to work with because they wobble around. You don't want to chop your finger off. So if you're new to this, I would just say, just chop the bottom off a little bit. Get a little base for yourself, all right? And you want to finally slice the potatoes. Keep them around the same size, okay? So what we want to do, put 3 fingers in front. Use your middle finger as a glide. And Chef Dev has an awesome video on his Instagram page about this, on how to chop without slicing your fingers off. So go check that out as well. All right, last piece there. And then I'm just gonna stack them up on top of each other. Do 3 at a time. That's a golden rule for me. We're gonna walk over here. Nice medium heat. We're gonna throw them right in. Beautiful.
While Chef's doing that, red pepper is in the bowl, just so you guys can see, we'll let this steam for 10 minutes, and then we'll remove the skin. Yes, we're looking to process this. If we were to add it into the quiche now, as you know, it wouldn't be much very flavorful. So we're trying to enhance some of these ingredients. Like, we're just adding raw red pepper, or raw potato, or the raw spinach. we are aiming to really take these ingredients to the next level, and then that way this quiche will be memorable.
Yeah, we're gonna flavor up these potatoes with some thyme, some rosemary, paprika, salt, pepper. Have some fun with it. Then let this go for a bit and add some salt. All right, so I'm gonna add some thyme. Flavor it up. Add a little bit of paprika, smoked paprika, beautiful flavors. Some dried rosemary. Fresh black pepper.
Same pan. This is easier for us to clean at the end. Another tip for working in the kitchen is utilize the same pan as much as you can after this with the mushrooms in here as well. Chef, I'll ask you to add in salt and pepper, please.
Got it.
And we'll saute these off. Again, if we add these mushrooms into the quiche the way that they are, it's gonna let out so much moisture, we're gonna have a very soggy quiche. So we're processing the potatoes, the roasted red pepper, the mushrooms, and the spinach to eliminate moisture and build more flavor.
So Chef, Seva Food Bank's been around for over 10 years. And I remember my journey with Seva. Like, I started off helping as much as I could, where I could. My wife and her mom, my mother-in-law, run a radio show. And so every year they get together and they do a radiothon. And the community gets together, they raise over $100,000 every year. And that all goes to families that are in need for some good eats and ingredients. And so we're standing in this kitchen and we're cooking some amazing food. And that's the beautiful thing about Seva, right? We're able to show people how to make accessible food with ingredients that they have at the food bank.
Right, and I see the work that you do. Seva is obviously very important to us. Giving back selflessly, no praise, no recognition. It's very important the way that we were raised, that we give back as much as we can to our community. That's a beautiful thing about this kitchen too. It provides individuals with an opportunity to learn how to cook and learn how to cook using the ingredients that you would find in the food bank. Seva even tattooed on my wrist, okay? This is a big deal for us. We're here on a Sunday, it's a fun day, and we love doing this kind of work.
I'm
so
giving you a
that's
hug right now if I could. I would. And it's crazy because Seva feeds over 1,000 people a month. And that's why Seva needs your guys' help to donate. You can go online, check out their website, see how you guys can help. You don't have to drop off food here. You can donate online, financially, whatever you guys can, spread the word. It goes a long way. So guys, check out the website. And we got this mushroom going here, right? Almost done. We're gonna add some spinach to this.
Red pepper has been steaming now for 10 minutes, and you'll notice that, how beautiful is that? So now the skin comes off. We've now taken this red pepper to the next level. So I'm simply gonna peel it with my hands. I don't recommend dunking this in water, like I see certain people doing. Sometimes I see individuals do that, and I think a lot of the flavor, a lot of these black specks, that char, that's gonna add a lot of flavor to our end product. You should be able just to pull out the core as well, just like this. And now, as I peel down, I'll expose the seeds. This is very hot. This is a very hot pepper right now, as you can see by the steam. If you're not wearing gloves, it can be very painful. The juice you can reserve, I'll transfer this to my board now, and I'll just remove the rest of those seeds. A few seeds, not the end of the world, okay? But you want to get the majority of them out. Make sure you're working very neat and clean while you're at home. A part of working in this kitchen is keeping it very nice and tidy, and then transfer these skills to your home or your cooking space when you go home. So here's our red pepper. A lot of the moisture is out. I'm gonna leave some of those black specks. Any trimming, like here, I can take off. And then I'm gonna go across and do what we call a julienne. So Chef Rick was talking about knife skills. We're gonna choke up on the knife. We're gonna get our middle finger out and we're gonna go across, and we're gonna break down this red pepper for big flavor. We're not cooking for, you know, any royalty here today, so I'm just gonna go across, and here's our processed red pepper. Nice and ready to go. So this is another component of our dish.
So I'm gonna take a clove of garlic, just crush it in my hand, use those muscles. It's not even crushing because of the gloves.
Just lean on it, Chef.
Take your frustration out on the garlic, throw it in the pan, boom, good to go. Get that flavor going. Just a little bit of oil because we've got a little bit in there already. our spinach right. Chef, what's your favorite green?
Swiss chard. I really like for the bite.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of bitter greens as well.
Okay.
I was raised in a house where rapini is very popular.
Yeah.
So rapini, saute off some garlic and some olive oil with some red chili flake.
Love it.
Kale I like too, but I need a nice creamy dressing massage.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I gotta say, I've recently just started to love kale again. I loved it before, and then I kind of got a love-hate relationship with kale. But the same way, massaging it, making it into like a Caesar style salad. Spinach, growing up, sod
Of course.
is a big thing in our family.
So tell me, as a young Guyanese boy,
Yeah.
sod is mustard green
Mustard green.
and pollock is spinach.
Pollock is spinach.
Okay.
But mustard greens you can't really find in Ontario, right? So as a substitute, you would use broccoli, spinach, broccoli and spinach for your sog. I've got a video on my Instagram on sog with my mom, how to make it, and it's one of my favorite things to eat. It's nutritious for you. It's good for you.
Traveling through India, I remember on the road, there's piles of it.
Yes.
Like Mumbai, all over the place.
Everywhere,
Piles
right?
of it.
And that's why in the wintertime, they get all the sod on the sog, they make sog, maki roti. It's a beautiful thing, it's delicious. Oh, I feel like eating sog right now. Should we get some sog after this? Like, come on. That's the kind of recipes you want. Something nutritious. Seva Food Bank feeds over 1,000 families a month. And so you want to make sure that the ingredients you're picking up from here are nutritious, good for your kids, good for your soul, just like this bowl right here.
Okay, so we are going to roll out our pastry. It's nice and cold. Why is it cold? Little roasted red pepper specks for flavor. It's cold so the butter stays cold. We want to keep this flaky. We want the butter to melt in the oven, and therefore we want it cold. Chef, can you turn that oven down to 350, please?
You got it.
Flour your surface, depending on how your dough is. And I'm going to take this, give this a head start in my hands. Okay, press this out, and now we're going to roll out our pastry. You can see how it's a really nice consistency, and if I press it, see how it stays? Perfect. So move this around, make sure you have a good amount of flour. Flour the rolling pin, and we're just going to gently roll this out, turning it. If you see it falling apart, that's what you want, because it's flaky, and that's the key. So a lot of butter in here, and just carefully, you can see that it's a little bit on the wetter side, that's okay. Take this, make sure there's flour underneath, flour on top, and we're gonna roll. See the butter, chef?
Oh yeah.
So yummy.
That's what makes it a nice crispy.
Yeah, flaky and all that
Flaky,
good stuff.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
flaky.
yeah. So you see I have a nice crust rolling out. Oh, there's so much butter. Okay. And of course, we're working with this dish, so we want to make sure that this rolls out nicely. Once you get to this stage here, you can bring the sides back in, but this is all going to be overlapping anyways. Make sure that it's maneuverable. That's very important. Worst thing you can do is making a pizza or something like this, and then you roll out your dough, and then you can't move it.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to avoid. So I'm gonna roll this out. We don't want it too thick. I can take a piece off and we can patch as we need. But I wanna make sure it covers up to the rim of that dish. Nice pie crust. Chef, we're gonna blind bake this too, okay?
Yes.
We're gonna blind bake it for a
7,
few
8
minutes. Yeah, something like that, that sounds good. Make sure we can maneuver this. Yeah, the more delicate it is, the flakier we are going to have our product. Okay, dish goes over here. We can very carefully, oh, this is so tender, this is gonna be a good one. Roll this onto our pen, and then transfer this over to our dish, just like that, okay? That goes into the garbage. Now carefully lift this edge up and press in. Notice that it's overlapping. This is what we want because we're going to trim it after. So make sure you press it into all the corners like this. Chef, is there, your knife, do you have a paring knife over there? If not, it's okay. Okay, that's okay. We'll use the back of a knife. As you can see, a paring knife is what I would normally use, but that's okay. And if I go along the rim, see how we're getting a nice clean edge? Yeah, okay. So not ideal the knife that we're using, but notice I'm using the back of the knife too. So the reason for that
More
is
rustic.
Yeah, and I don't want to dull my knife. Yeah, rustic is good. And I don't
Oh, there we
want
go. We got a paring knife. But he's done now.
That's okay.
Chef Dev is too quick for us.
Okay, so we have additional crust. What I'm gonna do is just cheat this a little bit by spreading it out, just so we can fill in. If you wanted to crimp the edges, you could, but I do like this rustic straight style. By crimping, I would simply just push my fingers together here and do a crimp here and here and here, but I'm not gonna do that. But what I wanna do is make sure the crust is nice and full. So that's why we have extra. We can just patch this up a little bit or just add to extend the crust. And yeah, here we have a really cool pie crust. We're gonna blind bake this off. Because of the butter and the density of this crust, we don't need to add foil, I don't think, and add dry beans to it. I'm not worried about it. All we're gonna do is just poke some holes in it with a fork.
What do the dried beans do?
The dried beans keep this in place and they prevent it from rising up. So if you put foil on top of this or parchment, you put dried beans.
Okay.
The beans you can always still use.
Yeah.
It's a common tip that we use in it's a culinary school kind of thing.
Okay.
And a common thing used across kitchens. But because of the density, I'm not too worried. We're gonna poke the holes with a fork and then we'll be good.
Love it. In the meantime, I took out my onions, my balsamic onions. So in the meantime, I took out my balsamic onions. I'm just gonna uncover it. And we're gonna flip them. Oh, yes. So what I'm gonna do is just gently flip them. See that color? All that balsamic vinegar just cooks right into the onions. And we're gonna let this bake for another 20 minutes uncovered. In the oven, uncovered for another 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, those are looking amazing.
All right.
So what we're doing here is we're going to place the fork down in. This will allow steam and heat to escape, and it'll prevent this crust from rising out because we're blind baking. Blind baking is so we take a little bit of that rawness out of this pie crust, okay? Out of this short crust. This is going to go into the oven. Looking really yummy. We're going to go 7 to 8 minutes.
So for the eggs, we've got 4 eggs. We're gonna add a splash of milk to this. Add some salt, pepper. Just gonna whisk these eggs together. Actually transfer it into this bowl here. And we are going to fold in our veggies that we did earlier. So our potatoes. And cheese. Cheddar cheese, lots of cheese. And Chef Dev's gonna grate some cheese, some cheddar cheese. We're gonna fold that all in. Put that into our pie crust. And let it do its magic in the oven. We should be good to go. So we're gonna wait for that crust to come out, cool, and then we're gonna add this to the crust?
That's correct.
Sweet.
That's absolutely correct. When making your quiche, you don't want to make it too moist either. We don't want to have it too runny. The point of this quiche is to have it nice and dense with ingredients, but still moist. We're not looking to overcook it either. But a quiche is, look at this beautiful filling that we put together. So we have our garlic wilted spinach, chef. Those beautiful potatoes that you seared off and sauteed off for us. Took the moisture out of the mushrooms, seasoned those. We have beautiful cheddar. So nutritious, wholesome, memorable, fun. This is one way to wake up everybody in your house making this in the morning. Right?
Straight up. Chef, I love potatoes.
Oh, the potatoes.
Oh yeah? I did add half. I had the rest, right?
Yes, yes. So here's our crust. Be careful, it's very hot. I'm gonna slide it off. And you can see that's starting to cook a bit. We've taken a lot of that rawness out. You can see the butter as well. And you see it shrinking a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna load this now and get it back into the oven.
Yeah.
So we can get a large spoon or a ladle. I'll get you to fill this up. You taste this? I know it's raw.
I did not, but I tasted as I was going. Taste that.
shockingly good.
Okay, good.
I taste potato
Yeah.
and the char of the red pepper.
Yeah.
And the garlic. Really good.
Love it. Let's do this. So we're gonna put
Cool.
this back in there now.
Yeah, you're gonna go. We're gonna move the veg around. Make sure it's nice and even.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh man.
That's right. Looks like it's gonna be a good amount of filling. Looking pretty yummy.
So weird. So tasty, so good. Everything got all of it in?
Just do another ladle like you did.
Yeah.
Tips for you at home. I'll come over here so you can see over here. And we're just gonna drag everything over. Green, we're missing green on this side, right? So I think these are things that you're not gonna see a lot of people show you, but this is stuff that we would do. So move everything over. So now the green is all dispersed. Make sure the red is going everywhere too. Visually, it's very important, but also you don't wanna bite without red peppers or stuff. So Chef, that looks pretty even to me now, right?
Yep.
A little bit better than it was before. Oh, a little splash, that's okay. And now, yeah, that looks really, really good. So we're gonna bake this off 30 to 40 minutes. I don't really know how long it's gonna take, but we'll cook
Keep
it
an
till
eye on it, right?
We'll cook it till it's done.
Yeah.
So into an oven, 350, 35, 40 minutes. We'll come back.
Okay, the balsamic onions are done. Take a look at those. Beautiful, golden, smell delicious. Chef?
Incredible.
Right? We're gonna use these as a garnish. We're gonna let them hang out in their own juices. They're nice and caramelized. Like I said, use them as a garnish. You can use them on sandwiches as a side. Make a roast, throw them on the side. They're beautiful. All right, Chef. It's been what, 30 minutes or so?
We're looking closer to 40, Chef.
40, yeah.
But depending on your oven, depending on the density of your recipe, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Ooh.
Look at everything setting there. All those
Pretty.
bubbles.
That's pretty. Nice jiggle. We'll go a little bit. Whew. A little bit heavier. You can add the cilantro, and you can just. We don't want to cover the yellow.
Or just kind of drizzle it from the top. Not drizzle, but just throw it up from the top. It's that fun of it, right? Yeah, salt bay with cilantro. That might not work though. Just, might just stick to your arm.
That's
Beauty. Beauty.
and then stem facing out this way, so that's how I present it.
Chef Dev going in for the slice.
Still nice and hot.
I feel like there needs to be food commentators. You know how they have for sports? Or like for food? Like Chef Dev, it's going in with a knife. Nice and sharp. Turns around and there he goes. Looks beautiful, Chef.
It looks yummy.
Woo! Look at that.
That looks really good. Really moist.
Yeah.
Let's do commentary now.
The commentary, let's do it. So just stare at it and just is the beauty that we put into this.
So here we have the final plate, ladies and gentlemen. Chef Rick and I conceptualized this together, utilizing his famous onions. If you look on the inside, we can see that beautiful moist spinach. We have nice pieces of the potato that you seared off really well, got great color, cheddar on top, and the roasted red pepper. This is why it's really important to spread those ingredients. Also the garnishes on the side. We're condiment garnish type people.
Yeah.
So that's why we have that here. See the crust on the back end? Nice color, lots of butter, nice and crispy and flaky, which is what we wanted.
That was easy to come out, right?
Very easy to come out.
Yeah.
And here's the final dish.
Good job, Chef.
Yeah, thank you, Chef. This is looking really good. I'm happy we went with all the cheese and all the potato. So you see, not too overcooked. Like it's really nice.
Oh, bro,
Really
that is
yummy.
so good. The onion, the crust, nice and like soft and buttery. Oh man, that's how it's done.
You will be very impressed with this recipe.
It's a great Sunday dish or any day.
It really tastes.
Yeah, let's dig in. Let's continue.
Let's go. So there you folks have it, Chef Rick. Thank you so much for doing this with me. It's amazing to come to the Seva Food Bank kitchen here and utilize this space to make a delicious dish with a lot of pantry staple items.
Yes, and guys, if you guys want to donate, go check out SevaFoodBank.com. You can check out the description in the link below. You can donate by financially donating, coming to the food bank, donating. Any way you can, that would mean a lot. And for the recipe, they can check out the recipe as well at SevaFoodBank.com. And they can check you out as well. Where are they gonna check you out at?
At Chef Devan, but make sure you follow out this chef over here.
At Chef Rick Matharu. Guys, until next time, good eats. We're gonna go enjoy this.